While fashionably late as usual, let's talk weapons, specifically on the idea if we need more. This is asked because of the newest but now old survey on character design. While probably an unpopular take, hell no, we do not need more weapons in Wuthering Waves especially. Out of all of the games, Wuthering Waves is probably the gacha game that would need it the least. Let's talk about why I think that, why more weapons would be a bad idea, and what could be done in place of the urge of more weaponry. Let's start with why I don't think we need more weapons. First off, Kuro has shown a lot of creativity with how weapons and characters function already. Within the classes we have now, no single character will wield their weapon the same and by extension will not look or feel the same. It's one of the things that I feel Kuro really takes pride in. I mean, even when equipping weapons, they all have unique animations. Now part of it is because of their function as a unit, meaning support, attacker, quick swapper, etc. But if you just examine how each character uses their weapon, each one has their own flares and patterns, with, as far as I can tell, none of them really repeating themselves. Kuro does an excellent job blending in their combat style and designs, and I think the clearest show of that would be characters like Jian Xin and Yuan Wu, or Kalkaro in Jian. Russia and new regions also really look to make that creative direction shine, as I guess most people wouldn't know that she'd be a gauntlet user at first sight. It's this kind of creativity that makes me comfortable in saying that adding more weapons wouldn't really provide extremely unique animations that we already can't get now. Secondly, the Forte and character kits already essentially give you different weapons through secondary states some characters have. That means we get weapon diversity and individual character variety. Kuro's done an amazing job balancing how often you see the weapons used too. Things are diverse in expression and unified through mechanics. It's not always specialized and it's not always the primary weapon. The only weapon semi-exempt from that statement is the rectifier, but I think in the future this weapon will have the biggest potential for essentially anything they can think of. The combination of Kuro's combat and design aspects really show their prowess and how characters will attack. These special weapons are complementary for the character's expression, and I can't praise Kuro enough for how well they have done things. I just overall don't think there would be a lot of value to be gained by adding in an entire new weapon class, especially right now where it hasn't even been a year of Wuthering Waves yet. I'd like things to have a purpose, and right now more weapon types are striking me without that purpose when they have already nailed things so far with the current types. On to the second thing, why it would be bad for us. First off, in my view, I feel like it would just be a waste of development time and resources for something that is already essentially being given to us through my previous laid out points. I feel too that it blowed up resource gathering stuff, since that means they need to make a new kind of resource matching the new weapons, and we're already kinda struggling for resources. But the biggest reason why it'd be bad for us is because of gacha. If you look at PGR, while I love the game, it has one issue that I do not like and has gotten worse over time. PGR has a wide array of weapons, and if you want full and smooth functionality where rotations and damage is consistent, you are typically in need of one or both of these things. Either their signature weapon, which fills in quality of life things and adds power by extension, that in my view should just automatically be there, or you will need to get the unit to SS. Thankfully, the SS rank can be gotten for free with an in-game currency if you're a consistent pain cage goer, but I just don't like this practice in gacha, and it's what I can see happening if Kuro were to add in weapon after weapon type. I fear that this would kick off a pattern of a slow yet predatory shift away from the more universal system that we have now to a more scarce individualistic system that will nudge you into pulling the character and weapon for smooth and full experiences. That not only can hurt the experience of players, but it also hurts your funds, whether that's in-game or IRL. Now, yes, it is 100% guaranteed for weapons, but to me that doesn't necessarily justify the nature of the move, and it puts the game on a path to being something that, in my view, actively hinders the game as a whole. which is to shiest people into investing pretty heavily into characters that should just out of the box come fully smooth. Kuro has done a great job overall with not really doing this, and I wouldn't want them to start a bad trend now. I don't know, is this an unpopular take? Nothing kills a boner harder than being greedy, and no amount of jiggly titties, squishy thighs, or succulent feet will solve that. For my last thing, I mentioned a way to pin that urge of wanting more weapons. The awesome thing that I can see Kuro doing is alleviating two problems at once: slimmed echo utility roles and more combat expression via echoes as weapons. What do I mean by this? Well, echoes go with either the placeable summons or the full transforms. What if we were to go a bit in between and have echoes be this liminal state that gives temporary weapon rolls? For example, the fallacy of no return. What if you could embody the echo in between combat to utilize the punching, the hammer slams, and the tracking projectiles? Think of it like how Nightmare Echoes are new versions relating to Somme Noir and Dreamscape nodes. I'd call these Lucid Echoes, where you temporarily enter a harmonic state between echo and resonator and can use them more like a character for a time. In fact, we actually already have this partially implemented in the game already. In Somme Noir, for Crownless, you can literally become and control him with some different attacks for a time. So this absolutely is not something that's out of the ballpark. I think this Lucid Echo idea would be a great addition for making more echoes be considered across all cost types, while simultaneously adding in new weapons and a new loot chase. Am I alone on this? Again, I just don't feel the need for it with where we are 7 months later outside of, yeah, it'd be cool. For my extremely small poll too, while close, it seems like a nice handful of people are sort of in the same boat as me. So to ask the other side, why are you wanting new weapons? Is there a specific reason? The only positive silver lining I can kinda see would be maybe new mechanics, but that's more so tied to the characters too, since you need a character to use the specific weapon mechanic. And also, where's the line drawn with that? Since Tower and Pincer usually have buffs which cater to a specific thing. Do you sort of see where I'm going with this? Do you want more of that stuff? Because personally I don't. But anyways, what do you think?